Coming soon from SJS Direct, Spellbound, a darker shade of black. Last weekend, Suicide Squad opened at number one at the box office with $135 million, the highest box office opening for a movie in August ever. And while a lot of people are cheering those numbers, us comic book and fantasy fans are pretty much disappointed because with that opening, the door has been slammed shut in terms of trying to raise the bar for quality and standards on films in the DC cinematic universe. Right now, all this is what you're going to get from here on in because many of these moviegoers went out here not understanding that many of us comic fans were trying to get Warner Brothers to raise the bar in terms of quality and standards on their films. When we look at films like your Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, they just aren't good enough. They're just not up to par. The quality just isn't there. We are not seeing the characters like Superman and Batman in their truest forms. The Marvel Studios, the Marvel comic fans, are literally getting comic books on screen. When we look at Captain America Civil War, that's a comic book come to life on screen. However, when we look at the DC cinematic universe, all moviegoers are getting are poor quality films and poor quality product overall. I mean, that Suicide Squad movie was absolute garbage. When you really think about it, basically all Warner Brothers did was give moviegoers a Power Rangers episode in a movie format. That's all you got was a 90-minute episode of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That entire plot was ripped off from the Power Rangers episode where the Power Rangers took on the Hatchosaurus and the Red Ranger with the Green Ranger's Dragon Shield and Dragon Dagger went on to take on the Cardiotron. And that's really sad when you think about it. Here we have Warner Brothers, a multi-billion-dollar corporation with billions of dollars who can spend $200 million on a movie budget, and the best their screenwriters can do is try to copy Haim Saban's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 20 years ago. That's embarrassing when you think about it. This billion-dollar corporation can't even get enough together to put together a quality film based on one of its properties. It has to go rip off a guy like Haim Saban, who literally just took some old Japanese Sentai footage and dubbed it over. That's, again, embarrassing when you think about it. This multi-billion-dollar corporation should be able to produce films on the same level as Marvel Studios. But we look at your Warner Brothers, and what have they produced over the last 5 years? Absolute garbage. And the sad part is that many people, instead of trying to help them by not going to see their movies, they continue to enable the dysfunction by spending money to go see this Suicide Squad movie. Because now that they have gone out and given Warner Brothers that strong opening, guess what we're going to get? Again, more poor quality films. The standard for the DC Cinematic Universe is so low that ants look down at it and microbes are scratching their back on it. That's how bad the standard is when it comes down to the DC Cinematic Universe. When you look at what they're putting on the screen right now, it is just not good enough. I mean, it's embarrassing. And what I find that's really sad about it is that a lot of people are sitting there thinking that, this is the best that they can do. And I'm sorry, this is not the best that they can do. When I look at what Marvel Studios has done in terms of translating their characters from comic page to screen, it's amazing. When I look at what they're doing, even with their Netflix series, it's amazing. And then when I look at what they have done with Supergirl, which pretty much showed me that you can raise that bar to a high level, it's embarrassing to see that in their cinematic department, they cannot step their game up. I mean, if a guy like me in the South Bronx can care enough to step up his game, to try to give his readers the very best, then why can't Warner Brothers, who has $1 billion? A guy like me who has been unemployed for several years, will go out of his way to try to raise money and get money together to improve the quality of his books by trying to put quality covers like this on, but your Warner Brothers won't make an effort to try to raise their bar to some sort of standard to say, that our viewers deserve the best. Our viewers deserve top quality. Our viewers deserve better than a Power Rangers plot. Our viewers deserve better than wooden acting in movies like Batman v Superman. Our viewers deserve to get what they pay for. When I look at that Suicide Squad movie, and I look at many of these movies in the DC so-called DC cinematic universe, it's just terrible. I mean, it's like you're not even trying. And the whole thing is that a lot of people aren't calling them on it. I personally am going to call them on it because people call me on it. When I didn't have much money and I was trying to hand draw the covers for my ISIS series books, people let me know, and I went out and hired a professional artist to design covers for the last 2 or 3 books because I cared that enough about my readers. I cared enough to give them the very best in terms of quality. And I care enough about my readers to do things like research so that they can get a great reading experience. This book right here, The Thetas, this book, I went out and did a year's worth of research on Greek sororities and black sororities. This book, Spinsterella, I did over 2 years worth of research on the goth subculture and to make this book the best quality it can be. And it's a shame that a multi-billion-dollar company like DC Comics won't take that type of effort and does not care that much about comic fans to go to those lengths to try to give them that type of quality in their products. If a poor guy from the South Bronx who's been unemployed for several years can go out and make this type of effort for his customers, then I'd like to think a multi-billion-dollar company like DC Comics and Warner Brothers can go out here and do the exact same thing. Your money means more to me, sadly, than it does mean to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, by their actions, are showing viewers and customers that that substandard is the standard and that you should accept substandard as the norm. I say to them, as a longtime fan of comic books from DC and Marvel, that substandard is not my standard. If my customers at SJS Direct can demand a higher standard of me, then I believe that those same customers should be going to Warner Brothers and demanding a higher quality standard for their films regarding DC Comics. The standard right now, is so low that, again, microbes are scratching their back and ants are looking down at it when it comes down to DC superhero films. This what they're producing right now is absolute garbage, and many viewers should just see it as unacceptable. I look at what they're producing right now, and I say to myself, I could probably produce better if you gave me $200 million because I believe that my customers deserve better than substandard. My standard is a high standard, and I believe comic fans out here deserve better than what they've been getting from Warner Brothers and DC Comics.